So we have looked at the student edition and the teacher's edition in print, and now we're going to look at our digital resources. You may be wondering, how am I going to engage my student digital learner in Journeys Common Core? This is the Student Think Central website. You notice that our student, Charlie, has things to do, he has a library, and he has test scores. In things to do, he'll have all of his assignments from all of our HMH products. He will have his resources in my library, and he will see his scores immediately when he has completed his assignments in my scores. So looking at things to do, Charlie just transferred to us from a school that had math, Go Math, but did not have Journeys. So he's just beginning his adventure with Journeys, although he does have a few Go Math assignments from this year that he needs to complete. You can see that he has two Journeys assignments, Think and Write, and Tops and Bottoms Reader Notebook, that are due on January 17th. Those assignments were made today, and the default date for assignments is 1 week from the day that it is made. However, if you would like to extend an assignment and give a longer period of time for the student to complete it, you can do that while making the assignment. We're going to look at Charlie's scores. As I mentioned, Charlie comes from a school where he had Go Math. So as you can see, he has several Go Math scores, but he doesn't have any scores for Journeys yet because he hasn't completed any Journeys assignments. When he does complete his Journeys assignments, they'll be here with his latest test scores, and he will be able to see his scores immediately after completing assignments. Next, we will look at his library. Since he has both math and reading in HMH products, we're going to look at his reading library. Notice that Charlie has access to several resources in his reading library that he can open independently. He has the Journeys magazine, Journeys My Write Smart, the Journeys Write-In Reader. He has access to Grammar Snaps videos, which are super cool, and he has access to the Journeys Reader's Notebook. We're going to look at the Journeys Student Book. Charlie is currently working in Lesson 4, but we're going to go to the beginning of Unit 1 to see what you notice about the way the lessons are structured. So going to Unit 1, I'm going to pause and let you look at each lesson and the way that it's structured. So there's Lesson 1, Lesson 2, Lesson 3, and the lesson that Charlie is currently working on, Lesson 4. What do you notice about each of the lessons? I'll give you 30 seconds to think about what you've seen in each of the lessons. The structure is the same in each lesson, so you can look at Lesson 4 and make some decisions about what you see. That's right, each lesson begins with vocabulary in context. So students have an opportunity to learn the vocabulary as it will be presented in the reading passages before they try to independently read the passages. Each lesson has a read and comprehend section. What will Charlie be working on in Lesson 4? That's right, he'll be working on comparison and contrast and inference and predictions. What else do you notice about the lesson structure? You're absolutely correct. There are two texts. There is an anchor text, and then there's a supplemental text. The anchor text is historical fiction. In this particular lesson, the second text is an informational text. The anchor text is going to be a fiction text. The second text is going to be, or companion text, is going to be a non-fiction text. With the anchor text, students will have a chance to dig deeper, to explain their understanding of the concept, then they'll have an opportunity in their turn to answer questions about the concept. In the informational or companion text, they will begin to compare the texts, and then they will have a grammar and narrative writing assignment. The comparison of text is very important and is often used on middle and end of the year evaluations for ELA. There's one coming up in Tennessee in February that uses the comparison of text as the basis of the assessment. So Charlie will have an opportunity to do some narrative writing at the end of his lesson. If we wanted to look at what Charlie will be doing, we can just click on that particular term and see that the grammar that he will be working with is common and proper nouns. And he will be writing a personal narrative. It gives him an opportunity to find out about a personal narrative and then to explore a topic, utilize a writing checklist, then construct his own narrative utilizing events and details. You can move to any part of the lesson by clicking on it in the table of contents if you'd like to see dig deeper. Talks about how to analyze the text. And here's that comparison and contrast work that Charlie will be doing. There's some information on story structure. And then the your turn, Charlie gets to answer some questions about the text that he has read. He also uses an important strategy, turn and talk, which is the beginning of working with other students, working with one other student in this particular case. So it's the beginning of utilizing collaborative learning. Do you have any questions at this point? No? Okay, we'll move further then to the navigation bar over to the left side of the text. We've already looked at the table of contents. However, if we wanted to go to a specific page, we could type that page in at the top and hit enter, and it will take us to the specific page that we would like to work with. Once again, this is lesson 4. Charlie is working with read and comprehend, and in this particular target skill, he'll be working with comparison and contrast. As you can see, he's using a Venn diagram to compare the two different stories and find where they're alike. If there were resources available for this particular text, Charlie could find them here. I looked for this particular text both at the lesson level and the unit level, and there weren't any resources available for this particular text, but when they are available, they'll be found in the resource folder. If Charlie had a particular page that he liked or that he thought was going to be necessary to review in the future, he could bookmark it by clicking in the right hand corner. I'm trying to find a page that is worth bookmarking. We'll go back to that read and comprehend page. Over here to your right, you can see I clicked at the top of the page, and now that page is bookmarked. So if Charlie needs to come back to that page, it will be easy to find. You can also take notes on passages in the chapter, or excuse me, in the lesson that he thinks are important. So he actually read the Write About Reading passage and